Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Shamal Darwish. I'm the Content Marketing Manager at Conversa. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be with us and to join us for this live event. We have a fantastic presentation lined up with Mike Templeman of Foxtel Marketing, and we're excited that he has agreed to join us today. I will be passing things off to Mike in a moment, but first, just a couple of quick house cleaning items. People often wonder who Conversa is and why we do these webinars, so I will answer both of those questions briefly. We are a call analytics company, and we essentially do three things related to phone calls. The first thing we provide is attribution. This boils down to tying phone calls to specific marketing channels, ads, campaigns, etc. We can tell you what's producing calls and what isn't. Number two is we actually provide the analytics around phone calls. So we analyze the phone calls with advanced speech recognition technology, and we can give you data relating to things like lead score and conversion rate for every phone call and tell you exactly what is taking place during these conversations. And the third thing is call marketing automation. We actually have workflow-based automation built into our call analytics system. So think HubSpot or Marketo-style marketing automation for phone calls. Calls can automate all sorts of actions, from emails and text messages to bid management changes for your AdWords account, or even alerts and notifications to go to people within your organization. All those things can be automated, and that's what we do. And why do we do all these webinars? Well, we like to have experts on like Mike who know their stuff, know their field, and who can help us provide fantastic content. It's a great content marketing tool for us, and it allows us to learn really great best practices from some of the brightest minds in the marketing world. In terms of housekeeping items for today, we encourage you to ask questions. You'll notice a little question bar at the bottom of your screen there. Just type questions into that screen, and I will read those to Mike at the conclusion of his presentation, and he will address those. So in order to practice this, why don't you go to your question bar on your GoToWebinar screen and just type in where you're calling in from today. That will give you a sense as to where we are, where everybody is, and let us get to know you a little bit better. Okay, here we go. I am based in Salt Lake City, and Mike is just based just outside of Salt Lake City. And we also have Danny from Gilbert, Arizona. We have Dave from Seattle. We have Bianca from the Woodlands, Texas. Jamie from Saline. And Joe from Queens, New York. We have Patrick from Seattle. We have some from Los Angeles. We have Baltimore. Good job, guys. Thanks for doing that. We appreciate it. The other thing to note is the webinar is going to be recorded. It's being recorded right now, so we will send that recording to you via email probably tomorrow morning. With that, I want to introduce Mr. Mike Templeman. In addition to being the CEO of Foxtel Marketing, he is also a contributor to Fast Company, to VentureBeat, and to Entrepreneur. He has worked as a marketing consultant in the past, and he has really become an expert in the SEO and demand gen space. This is what his agency specializes in. They work with a lot of companies that help them generate leads and close business, which is really what an agency should do. With that, Mike, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it, and I'm going to make you presenter now. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Shema. I appreciate that. Hey, everyone. So today's webinar is going to be a little bit interactive, actually. So I'll be going through a couple of slides very quickly, and then actually going through some live analytics accounts to kind of show you how we're going to do some of these hacks and find some of these shortcuts that you guys can use. Basically, the core of what I want you to take away from today is to debunk the idea that SEO takes a long time to produce results, and to change how we look at SEO as a whole. If you go to any of my recent articles on Forbes or Entrepreneur Magazine, you'll notice that I do a lot of picking at the SEO agency industry. In particular, there was this one article I wrote recently about how $65 billion will be spent on SEO-related activities in 2016. Personally, I feel like the vast majority of that will be wasted. So to give you an idea, when Foxtel Marketing, we're about 65 individuals here, team members, and I still like to take sales calls. So I'll still jump on the phone with new clients all the time and talk with them. And the thing I get talked to about is keywords. Whenever people want to talk about, now we are full funnel and we look at demand generation and lead generation and all activities for our clients, but the thing that a lot of people get stuck on is keywords. And I want us to just talk about keywords for a minute. Keywords are something that are it's a bit antiquated. SEO has been around for 20 years. I think keywords really lost a lot of their efficacy as a signal about 5 years ago, because things became more semantic as opposed to Boolean, and people are searching longer tail keywords now as opposed to just short and exact match keywords. And what I mean by long tail is usually people are asking questions or they are showing their intent through the way they search. And I actually believe that there is better value to be found in these long tail keywords than there are in these larger keywords. And I'll go through some examples of that here in just a moment. So real quick, what are your tier 1 pages for your website? That's a question I ask a lot of people. And what they consider their tier 1 are usually really not their tier 1 pages. Tier 1 should be the pages that bring you the most traffic, the most converting traffic as well, so the most customers. Now, there's a quick way of identifying what your tier 1 pages are, and I say that most people are wrong because they'll usually say, well, our home page, and you know, if you have a certain product or a certain service or something of that nature, you'll give us your best sellers, which oftentimes is often because of your sales initiatives or your direct response, but from an organic point of view, it can be very different from those outbound methodologies. So the way you do this is you log into Google Analytics, you click on behavior, you click on the site content. Now, I'm just going through this quickly because I'm going to walk through this in a real example with you guys, but I wanted to have the steps here so you can reference them later. You click on landing pages, and then you add organic traffic and remove all users from that. Now, the pages that show up are going to be the ones that are really showing you where traffic is coming in, because if someone's coming to you through organic traffic and they're hitting a landing page, that is their first page that they see. Thus, that is a page that is ranking for certain keywords. So real quick, let's go through, and I'm going to go ahead and go through an example of this for you. Here's a Google Analytics page. Real live client of ours, and let's do it exactly as I just showed you. So we go to behavior, right here is site content, landing pages, just that simple, and we're going to go ahead and remove all users and replace it with organic traffic. Scroll down, organic traffic, that's all you do, just that simple. Now, here are your pages that people are finding you via the search engine. These are the pages that their first entry is to, and it is because of a search result. Now, this is an exact client that I had this conversation with, and they told us, well, Mike, these are our pages. And I said, okay, great. Here's your product page. Here's your home page. I go, what's this checklist page that I'm seeing? Because it actually has more conversions than any of your other pages, and it drives a lot of traffic. And if you look at this, it has a 0% bounce rate. It has more page views than all these other pages, and people spend quite a bit of time on site. And they said, the checklist template, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about there. So I pull up the page like this. I said, well, look, it's a page full of checklists here. And they were shocked. This was a page that they had created just happenstance. They wanted to make a directory of the types of forms and checklists that they can help create. It had 6 simple checklists on there with about this much content that I'm highlighting right there. Hotel checklist with about 50 to 100 words. And that was it. That was a whole page. Managed to bring in the majority of their converting traffic, and they had no idea. So they said, well, Mike, what's bringing people there? I said, well, that's a great question. Let's go ahead and find out. So the way you can do that is you just grab this URL, go into any kind of keyword tool, but for this I'm going to use Ahrefs. You can also use SEMrush, Moz. There's a bunch of other ones. I like Ahrefs probably more than all the others. In my opinion, it has one of the best indexes when it comes to keyword rankings. So I pull this up, and we go into their organic keywords, and we find that this thing ranks for 359 keywords: restaurant audit checklist, store audit downloads, service standard checklist, all of these checklists, free templates, all of these things. And what we look at is a lot of these are long tail: audit checklist sample template, retail store checklist for operations. Now, they looked at us and said, Mike, we've been going after checklist app. I said, okay, so checklist app is your main keyword, your moneymaker in your mind. Truth be told, you're on the 3rd page for checklist application. Now, you are ranking for hundreds of long tail keywords that surround checklists, that show buying intent, or at least it identifies the searcher as being in your target audience. So with that being the case, aren't these just as valuable? And so we start going through these, and they start identifying some of these keywords that really do identify their buying audience. They go heavily after restaurants and retail. So like, wow, restaurant audit checklist, that's great. Well, you're in the #1 position for that. They say, yeah, but Mike, look at that. It only has 20 volume. And this is where we need to change how we think about keywords. Okay, they love the idea of checklist app because it has thousands of searches every month. Let's do a little example for you using Foxtail marketing. So if I go to SEO agency, holy grail of keywords for marketing firms. And you're going to have an aggregation site here. And oh, by the way, SEO.agency, for anybody that tells you that exact match URLs don't work anymore, they're lying. That's a big pile of plop that Google's fed the industry. But anyways, so we go down, and Foxtail marketing is actually on the second page. Not too shabby. You know, we're usually on the second page. We might be on the third page right now. Yesterday we were on the second page. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Third page. Okay, so we bounce around between the second and the third page. We get as high as 15, low as 20. And that is for a keyword that has thousands of results. Guess how many people we bring in from this keyword? 0. Only people that make it there are bots that are searching, because nobody goes to the second and third page of Google. So even though that might have a ton of volume, it's pretty useless for us. Now, something else we've been working on since the very inception of our company is that we focused on SaaS companies. Now, we work with every type of company out there, but we are very good because we cut our teeth, and that was the industry we started in. So if we go to SaaS marketing agency now this keyword doesn't even have enough volume to even show up on most searches. But now we fluctuate between the first and the second position here, usually in the first position, but it can vary depending on what the day or time of day is. Now this keyword, again, doesn't have enough volume right here, this little volume metric, to even make a blip. It doesn't show up. Yet that keyword is more valuable to our company than any other because of the buying intent. If someone is searching for a SaaS marketing agency, they're probably looking to solve a very poignant pain point for them. And we are going to be a huge option for them. So that is a way of looking at it and saying, I can chase SEO agency for its 50,000 volume, or I can go after a keyword that doesn't even show up in volume, but has a high buying intent, and it can be our highest ROI keyword that there is. And that's how people need to start thinking about their keywords, and they need to start identifying the pages that are really ranking. So we've identified for InTouch Insights that their checklist template is one of their best pages. So how do we optimize that? Well, we go back to that page, and here's their free audit checklist. And what we did was we went to the page, and we, instead of just 100 words, we built out 300 to 400 words per checklist. Okay, all of this nice, unique content. We optimize the site speed, we optimize the H1s, the meta descriptions, all the things that you can do to a page. We started building some links towards this page, sending social signals, all the types of things that Google loves. And what we're seeing is a major increase in their organic traffic to this page. Their keywords are all going up around it, and they're getting more conversions from it. That has happened in a 2-week period since this page has been launched, the new page. And most people will tell you, well, Mike, SEO takes 6 months. The hell it does. We just did something in 2 weeks. So if you're not going after these massive keywords and you're looking for these quick wins, you can identify really fast ways of optimizing it. Now, again, we want to build our relevancy with Google for stuff like retail checklist, convenience store checklist, restaurants checklist. So what we've done is we then click further into it, and here they have some landing pages, and these aren't very optimized. They don't have a lot of content. They have a good call to action. So now our next step with them is we are building out additional content for these pages and linking deeper into the site with that exact keyword, giving it more and more value. And that's how you can continue to increase that value. So now we're taking a page that they didn't even know was a tier 1 because they never looked at it, and we found it on their Google Analytics, a free tool, and we found it in about 3 minutes. So if you want to go through there and you have good goal tracking and stuff like that, you can start searching stuff by which page is bringing us the most conversions. Okay, that is actually the next one. The next one is restaurant audits. Or which one has the highest conversion rate? Well, actually your retail and restaurant audits have the highest conversion rate of 4.55, 4.35. Which ones are viewing the most pages, appear to be the most interactive audience? You want to try and take out anybody that has these small data sets of 2 and 1 visitors. That's usually just noise. Look for larger ones, but you can start sorting this way. So let's go back to another one. Okay, so we've gone to, this is more of an e-commerce site that I want to show you because that one was service-based and B2B, but let's look at e-commerce. So we've gone down to site content, landing pages. We've changed the all traffic to solely organic. Now here's a client that sells sheds, okay? And sheds convert for them. In fact, their conversions, if you look at their transactions based on transactions, their home page and their shed pages are the ones that bring them a lot of their conversions. But if you look at just raw numbers, their home page isn't even their best page. As crazy as that is, their homepage does not get the most traffic. By far, this cabins page is their best page. It doubles up the homepage traffic. So we show this to the client and they go, well, what is even ranking there? Well, let's grab that URL again. We're going to go ahead and pull it up in here, and we realize that that cabins page ranks for 4,000 keywords. One page ranks for 4,000 keywords. And by the way, prefab cabins, number 1, 720 volumes. Small cottage kits, 590 volume, 1. Prefab cabin kits, 480 volume. Again, this is a page where all of this volume is there. They have all of these kits, and they didn't even think about this as one of their top because they go, Mike, we're sheds and we're gazebos. Well, actually, cabins are one of their biggest segments, but since they never run ads for cabins, they just thought that people were finding them randomly for cabins. Now they know why people are finding them for cabins, because they have this one page that is doing amazing for it. So we go back to this page, and is it really optimized for cabins? Well, first off, let's look at this. It's not mobile optimized. Now they're redesigning their site, and this should be mobile optimized here shortly. If you actually look at the content that's on here, this is great content. This is good search engine rich content that's giving them a lot of value. But this mobile optimization piece is going to kill them eventually, because Google's getting more and more stringent on their mobile optimization. So as quickly as possible, they need to fix that. Alt image tags need to be optimized. Some of their titles and H1s need to be optimized. A couple of other things are getting optimized on this page, but really we're optimizing it on their upcoming page. So this is something good, but here's a really cool thing about this. When you identify that this page ranks for 4,000 keywords, and you guys are going to find pages that do really well. We also notice that it has 344 backlinks, and it has actually the highest page ranking of their site. So here's another quick win that you can get from SEO. When we talk about link juice in SEO, or link value, people say the word link juice, and we say that because it should be visualized in effect as liquid. When a link comes to your site, it gives value. Now, that value can spread throughout the site. A lot of people get links to their homepage, and then wherever their homepage links to, it passes a little bit of that link juice on. But if you find that you have an internal page that links incredibly well, that has a lot of links because people link to it as a reference point, then what you want to do is you want to go to that page and optimize internal links to other pages within your website. Pass that link juice around. Don't make it just hit this page and then stop. If you can do internal linking, you'll notice that the pages you link to from this page will all start to rise as well. Other things that Google likes are social signals from Twitter and Facebook. Start doing promoted posts to this page, getting likes, shares, and comments to this page. That will help. We've seen some really big spikes in organic traffic to pages that have been optimized with those. Site speed, mobile optimization, always look for those. The other thing that I look at this is this really conversion optimized? So if we go back to their Google Analytics, we'll notice that they have a lot of traffic. 50,000 people come to that page over a 3 or 4 month period. Not a lot of conversions. Why is that the case? However, people are looking at a lot of pages. 6 pages, 39% bounce rate, great bounce rate for organic, great page views, and great average time on site. So how do they optimize a quick win there? Even if they don't add any additional traffic to this page, because it's already getting bonkers amount of traffic. How can they optimize? Well, let's do some conversion optimization. Is this really optimized for their cabin styles? It's not. Right here, it doesn't take them immediately into a guided tour. It doesn't have great calls to action. This is kind of a messy board right here. So what you can do is take pages that are already getting traffic and then put some calls to action in there. Show them how they can get deeper into the site, or how they can get a conversation going, or chat with you now, or a call now button, or something like that. Whatever you do, make sure that happens. Okay. So that's e-commerce page that actually had a product page that was ranking much better than they had anticipated. Here's another one. Now this site has quite a bit of traffic. It's strictly e-commerce. It is a clothing store, and I say strictly, but they actually have a couple of brick and mortars as well. So their homepage is very traditional, highest tier 1 page they have. That's normal. But then we start identifying the products that people are actually finding. And again, if you're not pushing paid traffic towards some of these pages, it might not get a big enough signal to let you know, wow, these pages are actually the ones that people care about. You can again sort by transactions. So if they want to see where the best converting traffic is coming from, they'll sort by the amount of transactions they've had. As we do that, taking a second because I guess there's a lot of data for Google Analytics to parse, we'll notice that checkout pages can kind of be tossed out because those are probably just return pages. But right here, Blue Life produces some of the most transactions for them at a 2.91% conversion rate or transaction rate. It makes up for 2.9% of their transactions. So what is this page? If they click to it, they're going to see that this page has a lot of their dresses. Okay, so these are sundresses, bathing suits, that type of stuff. And what keywords is that page ranking for? Again, we're going to go into Ahrefs and we're going to pull up that keyword and we're going to identify that it is ranking for a bunch of boho dresses, maxi dresses, these types of keywords. And that's what their audience is searching them out for. So they can optimize for that by going to that page that we were just looking at and noticing that do they really have any content that talks to boho dresses, bathing suits, or anything. They have images, they have product names and sizes and stuff like that, and some of these images are alt image tagged optimized for this, but there's really no content here. So at the very top, what they could do is add in 300 words talking about what their boho dresses, their bathing suits, all those types of things. They can optimize the alt image tags that are on there. They can put in some solid H1s, H2s in there to help as well. Optimize the metadata for it. Put in microdata, schema, data highlighting, all of these optimizations that can be done from an e-commerce point of view to really boost this page. Again, they can look at it for what can they do from a conversion optimization point of view. If they notice that certain sales products do really well, then move the sales products up in the results because these are the first 3 products they see. If these are not the 3 best products that sell, by going through the funnel and optimizing that by seeing where do these people track to, then they should be moving up the best sellers to the top of the page and see if they can get that conversion rate up. Again, that's looking for a quick win to a page that's already driving a lot of traffic. So the 2 ways you can get some immediate results from SEO is 1, boost that page by link building towards it, social signals towards it, optimizing the on-site. And 2, conversion optimizing that page with better calls to action, ensuring that you have remarketing, retargeting set up on there, and any other activity that would help with conversion optimization. And that's how you take usually what most people will say is a long-term SEO initiative and distilling it down to, like I said, we've seen results as quick as 2 weeks. We've seen results that are striking within a month or 2. And it's easy to get the buy-in from the organization. Something you do want to be aware of is you want to get the stakeholders in on this conversation where you're going to be going over this, because I had this exact situation 2 months ago. I was meeting with a large software group, and we had a bunch of product managers in there, and I said to them, okay, what are we going to be focusing on? And they all started saying, well, I need this because it's an IT management suite, and I need this because it's an endpoint solution suite, and I need this, and they all just started saying what they needed. And I said, okay, well, what features are your customers actually searching for? What are your value propositions that people are finding you for? And they all gave me their best value props, the ones that really hit the home runs in the sales. So then we pulled up their analytics and we went through this, and all of the answers they had given were actually not even on the first 3 or 4 pages of organic. All of their traffic and all of their conversions were coming from these long tail searches for stuff as simple as virus monitoring on multiple systems, or virus this, or virus protection here. And so they had made this tool that was able to do anything to anybody, which is a problem that a lot of softwares have. Truth be told, people wanted them for their virus solution, and the biggest qualifier on there was that they had solutions for Mac products, which was their big differentiator. So immediately they identified, this is a differentiator, this is a value prop that really works. Just by looking at their Google Analytics and seeing which pages show up, taking those pages, putting them into a keyword ranking, and they started seeing stuff like Mac virus protection enterprise, Mac virus protection multiple stations, that type of stuff. And so we talked to them and said, does this ring true? And they go, you know what? Whenever we're on a phone with someone that is a Mac environment, it closes almost immediately. So they started realizing that these organic customers were actually their best customers. They didn't have to sell them very hard, and they closed much faster. So then the solution became, instead of focusing on all of these disparate products and all of these other activities, let's look at and focus on building value for the keywords that matter and the ones that bring you the best customers. Okay. What happened was a lot of the product managers suddenly backed off their stances. The battle lines, if you will, between the product groups kind of disappeared, and people started using data as the real winner there, and the thing that they were going to follow. Now, let me bring up another situation that a lot of people have. So we're going to go back into an analytics, and this is of a partner of ours, a group that we really like. Their name is Disruptive Advertising. These guys do strictly PPC advertising for certain groups out there. Now, if we go to, again, I'm going site content, landing pages for anybody who came in late, this is how you do it. Remove all users and go to organic traffic. Now, this is something that a lot of companies come against, especially in the B2B space, where you randomly have a blog post that is your best ranking page. And they do. They have a blog post. Their second page is their home page. Their next one is a blog post. Their next one is a blog post. Their next one is a blog post. They have all these blog posts that are ranking for them. And you'll look at that and say, all right, but look at it. It has 92% bounce rate with 1 page view per day. But if you go to all goals, they actually are converting some of this traffic. It doesn't convert at a very high rate because, again, it has most of their organic traffic and it's got a high bounce rate. But if we go to that page, what does it really rank for? And it's actually a pretty easy page to understand. It's a quick guide for banner sizes. So when people search banner sizes for display ads and you put it into keyword track like Ahrefs, you realize that it ranks for almost 700 pages around banner sizes. What are the banner sizes for Google? What are the banner sizes for Bing? What are some of the most effective banner sizes? Okay, so they have this blog post that is ranking really well. What do they do with that? Well, we went and talked with them and we said, well, why don't we put a chat feature on here? Why don't we put a call to action right here on the right-hand side? Let's get a proposal going. At the very top, before they even let's get another one. Let's get a subscribe to our blog. This page is getting quite a few links because people are linking to it as a resource. If someone's writing about banner sizes, they link to this page saying, here's a quick reference point for your banner sizes. So let's internally link into other pages on your site to spread that link juice around. And what they noticed was other pages they were linking to started rising in efficacy. The traffic to this page didn't really jump up because we weren't doing a bunch of SEO optimization to it. We were doing conversion optimization to it. And what happened was it went from previously converting nobody to getting 4 conversions. And that might seem like nothing, but it actually, their average order value and their lifetime value of a customer, it ends up being almost $100,000 in revenue for them on these closed deals. And it came from just a couple of quick changes to that site. Now, there's another one for us, particularly Foxtail Marketing. When we had started the agency back about 3 years ago, I was, fell into that trap of you got to blog for the sake of blogging. So I was writing blogs all the time, and I ran out of ideas very quickly, and I just started writing about stuff. So I wrote about this one blog, just answering what is the difference between B2B and B2C advertising and marketing. And lo and behold, for some weird reason, that keyword just resonated, and there's not a lot of results for it, but it has a lot of volume. A lot of people search that, and we get a ton of traffic to that blog post. But that blog post was similar. It had a very high bounce rate, not a lot of time on site or page sessions. So instead what I did was we went to our website and I took that blog that I wasn't really proud of because it was like 300 words, SEO optimized, just doing it for the sake of doing it. And what I did was I created a page on the website that specifically talks about B2B versus B2C. I then gave it extra content. I optimized it across the board for SEO and put in some conversion optimizations in there. So now that page still gets just as much traffic. We have a chat feature, we have a talk button, we have the phone call, we have download some of our guides and stuff right here. And it's one of our best newsletter edition site pages because people download a lot of stuff from here. And what I did was I took that blog post and I just flat out 301 redirected it to this page. So the the title tag changed a bit and the URL changed a bit, but Google didn't care. They actually raised our keyword rankings for it. And all of that link juice that was going to that one blog post now started coming to a more robust page that we've internally linked much better. So I went ahead and took an old blog that wasn't giving us much good, and I redirected it and made it something that actually did something for us. Now that is something that a ton of companies have. You have really old, well-performing blog posts that drive a lot of traffic but don't drive a lot of conversions. But if you were to adjust the targeting of that page, put just as good content in there, and redirect it to a more conversion optimized page, a better conversion optimized page, could you do something with it? And the truth of the matter is yes. We get quite a few conversions from this page now. This is also, if we look at this keyword B2B versus B2C marketing, that's a very long tail keyword. It's more of a looky-loo keyword. It doesn't have a lot of buying intent. People aren't going to necessarily use us if they search this keyword. But that's okay, because they usually are marketers if they're searching this. It is a signal that they're probably a junior marketer because they don't know this yet, but that's fine. I want them to know our brand. I want them to download our content and to use us as an education tool so that when they do become a manager or a director of marketing, that they do remember us and they do think about us. So we capture them for remarketing and retargeting, and we hit them up all over the web. We give them those calls to action at the bottom to sign up for our newsletter so we can stay persistent in front of them. And that's something that we were able to take a tier 1 page in terms of traffic, but not in terms of conversion, and change it to a tier 1 page in terms of conversion and traffic. So that's how you identify them. That's how you optimize them from an SEO point of view, and that's how you optimize them from a conversion optimization point of view. Again, you're usually going to identify that they are driving traffic via long-tail keywords because those are less competitive. They can either be looky-loo keywords like this, or they can be SaaS marketing agency, which is a high probability, a high closing, a high buying intent keyword, and whatever it might be, you can optimize that page for it. If it's a looky-loo keyword, give them information and get them to sign up for a newsletter and stay in touch. If it's a buying intent one, optimize the funnel from there. So that's how we do it. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer those for you. Again, this will be in a recording, so you can go back through and do it with your team and identify those. But Shamal, if you'd like to let me know if there are any questions. And I bet Shama's on mute right now, or away from her desk.
Hey, Mike, sorry, I broke up a minute there. You're getting some good feedback from the presentation. We have Cheryl that says that in the first 5 minutes she had a huge takeaway moment, so that's really great. And we have some questions coming in. We have Patrick asking if, from a paid search perspective, if you have any tips to understand and beat competitors.
So your paid traffic is really going to be more about your conversion optimization on that page. So as you go to your landing pages, if you come to, well, actually, let's not even go there. If you should have linked your AdWords to your campaign, sorry, to your analytics here. So what you want to go through is your AdWords traffic, and this one isn't linked up. I don't think they're actually running any. I believe this one is. Let me pull one up that I know has traffic that is being driven to it. Just one moment while it's loading. Okay, so still waiting. And Google Analytics is running slow today. Okay, so they actually don't have any of their analytics hooked up right now. I don't think they're actually running any AdWords for these groups. But what you want to do is go into your AdWords and identify your campaigns right here. Make sure you have goal tracking set up. You can do it really easily through Google Tag Manager. It's probably the easiest way. And start identifying the search queries that are converting, okay? Because what happens in AdWords is you will say, again, let's use Foxtail marketing for an example. SEO agency, very, very expensive keyword, extremely expensive. In fact, if you go one step further, SEO just by itself is one of the most expensive keywords. So if I'm searching for SEO and I go into my search queries, but all of my traffic is coming from SEO for franchise marketing, so for franchises, or SEO for dental practice, then I'm going to look at that and say, wow, that's the one that's converting for me, that keyword. Instead of just running SEO campaign targeting SEO as a keyword and expecting that query to convert, let me go straight to AdWords and create a campaign just for that query. Because if you can target just on that query, you're now going after, and the volume is going to be very low. That campaign's not going to get much traffic, but again, a lot of that traffic is going to convert. So you'll see your conversion rate go up, and what will happen is you can actually create a custom funnel targeted to that query. So now I can create a landing page that talks just to dental practices, that says, hey, we are the leaders in SEO for dental practices, instead of them coming to a page that says, we do SEO. So if you can optimize from a paid point of view by using your Google Analytics to go after queries and then customizing each individual funnel through landing page and which pages they go to based on that query, you're going to have a much higher conversion rate, and you can turn off the campaigns that just target these very, very competitive keywords that gets incredibly low conversion rates, which end up costing you tons and tons of money. They are good to start to identify the queries that are going to give you money, but they're not a good long-term investment because they will eventually start just eating up your budget on that.
All right, and we have another good question from Cheryl. She's asking if you keep the B2B versus B2C marketing as a blog page or recreate that as a static page on your website.
So we recreated it as a static page. I actually sunsetted the blog because the blog had really no value. It was, again, it had gotten a bunch of links, it got us a bunch of keyword value, but the content I wasn't very proud of. It was written in one of those hasty moments. It was done just kind of happenstance, and it randomly took off. Just like that checklist page for InTouch. They had just thrown it together. It wasn't really all that optimized. So they went to that page and really replaced it with an entirely new page that had better content, and they just replaced the URL to the same URL. With the blog post, I redirected it. So you can keep the blog post if you feel it has a lot of value. For that, for the example on disruptive advertising, their blog post is very effective. It's answering the question that people are searching for. Should they recreate that? No, they should probably just put the calls to action on that blog post. So really stop and weigh what the journey is that your customer's embarking when they come to that page. The way I do that and the way you identify what a keyword is, if it's a looky-loo or a buying intent, is you have to really exercise a skill set that very few people have. It's called make-believe. And we've all done it from the age of 6 years old on. And you sit there and you say, okay, if I was my client and I had just searched store audit checklist downloads, am I getting what I want from this page? What are my intents here? Would I become a good customer? And draw out the customer journey. And if you have to go to Narnia to try and make a way to show that they're going to be a good customer, you're trying too hard. But if you can very easily say, yeah, they're going to search this, they're going to download it, and then they're going to see that, wow, paper downloads and paper checklists are really annoying. I should use an app. Then that makes sense. That would be a good customer for us. So I like that. But if you have to say, well, they're searching banner ad sizes and they might be doing this down the road, if it has nothing to do with you, don't focus on that page, or redirect it to a better page, or create something that could in some way create a value for your company.
All right, and we have another question from David. He's asking if there is any free tool to do the rank checking with instead of the Ahrefs tool.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ahrefs will allow you to run some free reports on there. It doesn't give you the full number. You would just want to search for some keyword tracking tools. Most of them will give you a couple of free reports or give you several free results. So they might show you the top 50 that you're ranking for. SEMrush does it. Ahrefs will do a trial. Moz will do a trial. So you can use some of those tools to identify these keywords.
All right, and we have another question from Sean. He's asking if there's anything specific to apply for B2B.
Absolutely. So the B2B space is where you're going when you're going to go into this behavior and landing page section. You're really going to, oh, that's why we had it, because I was still on organic traffic. So that's why we weren't seeing any AdWords. I apologize. But the B2B side, you're going to identify the value props that people are searching for. Okay, because you're going to find these pages that you are ranking for, and it is going to, and let's grab a B2B client here real quick. So these are this client is about as boring as you can get. They are an awesome client, have been with us for 2 to 3 years, and they do asset tracking. Okay, so they work with defense companies, manufacturers, stuff like that, and they do it through RFID tracking. So if I go to that same search for them, so site content, making sure we're going to be on organic traffic, remove that, put in organic. Here's your B2B aha moments. Is their blogs. moving WAWF IWrapped means DoD Commerce World. Okay, so right there, I have no idea what that means, but I know that this client, IWrapped, IRAPT, is a major audit that their customers go through. And because of that, it is a massive pay point. IUID compliance is another audit they go through. Automatic identification for Trotec lasers, Trot lasers. So these are some of the things they're identifying. They found out that IWrapped and IUID is one of the strongest pain points. That's where a lot of their organic traffic, and if you look, it actually converts really well. 9%, 5% of organic traffic will convert for them. And if you actually go to their all goals, they convert even much higher for them. So with that, they found out we should be really focusing on IWrapped and IUID. So we created IUID compliance handbooks, IWrapped compliance handbooks. Those things get downloaded like mad for these guys because it's such a scary thing for their customers, and they were able to identify that. Now they said, Mike, we never would have thought of that because we look at it and say, well, we're RFID tracking, and we help with so many different compliance and audits. And if they're talking about their manufacturers, they go through audits that the defense contractors don't. The defense contractors go through a lot of them that the other ones don't. So this is where they start identifying through which blog posts and product pages are really telling them what their pain points and value props are that people value. They could go into these pages and see which keywords they rank, and that is, again, going to bring up value propositions and pain points. Your pain points are the search terms that people are searching. If you're in B2B, they're going to be searching stuff similar to, how do I get more B2B leads for a SaaS company? How do I protect myself from IUID compliance audits? That type of stuff.
All right, now we have Peter here. He's happy with this. He's saying it's some awesome info, and he's asking if you develop additional pages for the keywords that show up on Ahrefs, or just optimize the page for conversions.
Great question, and absolutely. So Google is giving you context for those keywords because they are seeing that you are offering value, user value, and that's what SEO is all about nowadays. I wrote a recent article on entrepreneur.com that said SEO should now be coined search experience optimization because Google ranks you based on bounce rates, pages per session, the amount of time on site. They rank you for mobile optimization, site speed, all these things that don't mean anything for keywords but are actually all about the user's experience. So if you can increase your contextual value to Google for that keyword, then start writing more articles on SaaS marketing. Start writing more articles on IWrapped and IUID. Create additional business pages that talk about, that go really deep. Interlink them. Link them between your best linked to pages. Link them from the home page. Put as much information as you can on there because you want to build out that value. Something that we've done at Foxtail to kind of do this is we have the Foxtail University. This is where we show our clients exactly how the sausage is made. We go through everything: search engine, on-site, national, on-site content, link building. I mean, anything you can think of, it's in here. Twitter ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, and we tell you how to do it. Because the real value in a service is showing how hard it is to do, and we offer a service. With a product, it's showing them the value of that product. So build a ton of pages that target those specific keywords and build more and more and more. Some of the best pages that rank, that have the most traffic are massive websites. So if your website only has 5 or 6 pages and you're having trouble ranking and getting traffic, it's because you only have 5 or 7 pages. And a lot of B2B companies have that because they can't talk too much about themselves. E-commerce pages usually have thousands of pages, and so they rank for all these really obscure long-tail keywords. There's no reason B2B companies cannot do the same thing. You just want to, it does take time, but if you work on it as a concerted effort and say, every day I'm going to build out a new page, I'm going to write content, and if you're in WordPress, it's as easy as just cloning a page and then changing out the content and the navigation and all that and putting in there. It can be done rather easily.
All right, and we have a question from Jennifer. She says this has been a great session, and she may have missed it earlier, but what are your recommendations for how to find the optimum keywords to include on your page for higher rankings / more visits? Is it using a tool or site like Ahrefs.com?
Yep, so as we were showing there, I'm just going to run it again. You pull up the pages that you've identified through looking at organic landing pages on your site. You grab the URL right up here, and then you just go into a keyword tracking tool right here, and you hit you input it, export, and then it'll tell you how many keywords it's ranking for. And then once you click on it, it will tell you the ones that are bringing you the most traffic. So prefab cabins is bringing them the most traffic, small free prefab, and this is telling them the keywords they should be optimizing for. This is telling them the keywords they should build more content for. This is telling them that they should build more links and better conversion optimize that page for them as well. So that's how you do it. You do it with a keyword tool. Google will show you the page, but you do have to go one step further and bring in another tool to actually identify the keywords. Again, sometimes you can make some pretty good guesses on what it's ranking for. As I showed with the disruptive advertising page, the blog post is titled the 10 most commonly used banner ad sizes. So clearly that's ranking for banner ad sizes, what are the banner ads, and you can make a pretty educated guess on that.
All right, and Cheryl's asking, why did you choose SaaS as a keyword phrase?
Oh, why did I choose SaaS as a keyword phrase? Is that what the question was?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we started our agency, the first 20 to 30 clients we had were SaaS companies. It's where we became very strong. We found a traction channel and we grew that. So once we were growing that, we wrote a lot about it. Obviously we could have said software marketing, but I think software is being supplanted by SaaS because everybody just assumes that software is now a cloud-delivered tool as opposed to software. And software marketing is much more competitive too. So again, in looking for a higher conversion keyword and with higher buying intent, if I can talk SaaS, then the people that find us, they sit there and say, oh, they're not calling it software, so they must get SaaS. And we totally get SaaS. I mean, it's been our clients and we've driven traffic for them. And we just have a stronger message. The same way that we've also become very strong in healthcare, finance, e-commerce, and dental. We've built out these channels over time by getting very, very good, creating a customer base there, and then optimizing. There are a lot of industries we don't work with. We don't work with payday loans or MLMs or locksmiths or certain supplement companies. There's a lot of stuff we don't do there because marketing just really does not work that well for them, and there's a lot of fraud and scammers and stuff like that in those industries. It makes it very difficult. So you identify, and that's why I tell a lot of people in marketing, don't try and boil the ocean. Even with that group that I told you about where we had 10 product managers in there and they were all arguing their points, that's a billion-dollar company. And we work with groups that are startups on up to billion-dollar companies. We don't have any premium features or anything that other groups don't get because a lot of what we deploy works for everybody. But we went to this company, and even at a billion-dollar level, if they were just trying to boil the ocean and say, we do everything for everybody, when if they really focused in on what they were phenomenal at, that market that they're great at is so massive that it would create so much organic traffic and sales opportunities, and they've seen their traffic spike like crazy to where they've actually had to hire new ADRs that are specifically trained on those keywords because they had so much value, and being a billion-dollar company, the needle moves really fast sometimes. But that's where even as a billion-dollar company, they shouldn't try and boil the ocean. They should look at it and say, we do incredibly well here. We go back to A to B, that boring company, and even though they can work with any type of manufacturer, they go and say, we work with defense contractors, people that work with aerospace, people that work with shipping, because we have such a strong message there, and a lot of their content is specifically to that, because if someone searches IUID compliance, you have a good chance of closing them. But if they search IUID compliance for aerospace manufacturer, you have an even higher chance of closing them because they know you talk directly to them and you have the solution tailor-made for them. So that's why we made that choice. That's what I suggest a lot of people do at a very basic level with their marketing. It doesn't mean you can't still service a lot of industries. We service a lot of industries that we don't have content for, but we target those specific industries that we're very, very strong in because that's our rock.
Okay, and we have another question from Christine. She's asking if you have any tips for clients that are mostly doctors in private practice.
Oh, absolutely. So doctors in private practice, we work with a lot of doctors. In fact, the two largest healthcare groups in Utah we work with. And the fun thing about doctors nowadays is that things have changed. Previously, it was very much ivory tower. They were up and they just looked down. I'm not trying to, simplify it, but my dad's a doctor, so I can talk about that, I guess. But anyways, they didn't have to market themselves. You were assigned to a doctor or whoever was in your network. Now, with the advent of Google, people are looking to be educated before they go to doctors. Doctors have, while they may have lost some of that ivory tower feel, it's actually helped in a lot of ways because they're having more in-depth conversations with their patients, if you will. So because of that, what we suggest for doctors and what we've been doing a lot with doctors is create content that you know your customers are searching for and your patients are searching for. So with the two healthcare groups that we work with in Utah, we work with all their practices. We are constantly creating allergy handbooks, travel handbooks. We just created one for what you need to know about the Zika virus if you're going to be traveling. And it's not so much, hey, we need to get people to our practice and become a customer, but really it's we love referrals, we love returning patients, we love building that leadership with them and having them trust us. So by creating these materials, and I think content marketing works incredibly well for dental and medical practices. They create these materials and they gate them behind a page that just asks for an email. And then they get them in their newsletter, and then they can share with them any updates, doctor spotlights, staff spotlights, anything like that. And it works very, very well from that point of view. You take that content that you create and then you put it on the website, and when people are searching for Zika virus, what should I do if I'm traveling to Mexico? What do I need to know? If they're searching about a sprained ankle or something like that, your site comes up on a local level, not a national level, but on a local level, because you're going to get that local context that Google will give you as well, and they may find their way to your practice because of that.
All right, and we have a few more questions here. We'll try to get through them before the hour runs up. Mark is asking, what assets does Foxtel provide for video-based digital marketing?
Mm-hmm. So we do quite a bit of video creation. It's all 3D animated or animated videos, such as whiteboard videos and those types of things. And then we leverage them very, very heavily on Facebook and YouTube. Facebook, YouTube, and email are incredible distribution channels for B2B, B2C, anybody that wants to leverage video correctly. And the live action videos, because we are centralized here in Utah, our whole team is located in Utah, and we fulfill everything internally. It's very hard for us to go on site and film, so we don't do any of that. That's why we just stick with animated. But if you are looking at doing video content, I cannot endorse Facebook and YouTube enough. Facebook is amazing from a social engagement, and YouTube pays huge dividends from SEO point of view. People find YouTube videos in their search results all the time, and they for obscure keywords are on the B2B. So again, going to A to B, they have again a boring company, B2B. They have videos on IWrapped and IUID, and they show up in the search results when people are searching that. And if different strokes for different folks. Some people want to read a blog, some people want to download a handbook, some people want to watch a video and get a quick download of it. That video has been one of the best converting assets they've had because it's built specifically around a pain point that they identified through this type of audit.
Right, now we have a good question from Peter. He's asking how you can find the keywords that you may be missing from your page. For example, frequently searched terms you're not thinking of.
So frequently searched terms that you're not thinking of, the way that you can find those is you go into your keywords right here and you grab all of these, the ones that you're able to find through one of these tools, and then go into a keyword suggestion tool. AdWords has one. There are a bunch of keyword suggestion tools, and you upload all the keywords that you're currently ranking for, and then it's going to give you a massive amount of keywords that you can consider, and most of them are going to be garbage. Most of them are going to be just slight variations, but as you go through them, you're going to say, oh, that would actually be a great converting keyword. It shows high buying intent. So if this one said cheap, small prefab cottages, Canada, that's probably someone in Canada that wants something to buy because they're looking with a price modifier on it and a geographical modifier, which means they probably want it shipped to them right there. If that's the case, why not create a page specifically about prefab cottages in Canada and why you're the leader in Canada, and then link that prefab cottage page that's already ranking so well to that Canadian one and start ranking for that Canadian keyword. So that's how you can identify additional long tail keywords that you may not be thinking of. Just use a keyword suggestion tool and go through it with a machete. and I mean a machete, not with a scalpel. You want to go through and just say, that's garbage, that's garbage, that's garbage, this makes no sense, that one makes sense, that's great. And then you take the ones that are great and you reintroduce them into the keyword suggestion tool and build off of those great keywords as well.
Okay, and another question here. They're currently subscribed to SEMrush, and they're asking if Ahrefs provides enough additional value to add it as a tool.
So we've actually supplanted SEMrush with Ahrefs. I really do like SEMrush. I've written for them. I've done some podcasts and webinars with them. I love them. Something has gone on with their index as of late. Their index is about 1/3 the size of Ahrefs. So Ahrefs is much better, in my opinion, for long tail keywords and for doing this type of practice. It is also cheaper. Again, I don't know what's happened, and I don't want to badmouth anybody because I really, really do like them, but it's something from a technical perspective that has happened over there. So I would even say that this would be a better solution. Now, if you use SEMrush for its paid research, they are doing paid search on Ahrefs now. Their index for paid is not as good, but I just supplement that with a cheaper tool like SpyFu. So that's my opinion on those tools.
All right, we have a question from Dave. He's asking if you have any suggestions for B2C industries such as real estate, where the search terms are so general, like Seattle homes or Seattle condos, and there are so many players out there. He's saying that they don't see long search terms, so how can they differentiate?
I love that you're asking that question because one of my favorite clients of all times is a real estate client. So let's go to Abode Park City. So these clients came to us one time and they said, Mike, we have done PPC, SEO, social media. It just doesn't seem to be resonating. And we looked at their website, and again, this is where you can sometimes look at it and say, SEO doesn't really work sometimes. So these guys are luxury rentals, but they also are real estate agents, and they're luxury though. They're high-end homes. So when people were searching for them, they were getting AdWords were so expensive because they were going up against Travelocity, Expedia, Remax, all these groups. Now, are they competitors to them? Technically, yes, but really, no. So the high-end buyer isn't necessarily going to Google and searching these things. They wanted to create relationships, and real estate is very relationship based because you get a lot of referrals to you. Because what differentiates you from the real estate agent down the street? Do you have better billboards? Do you have better postcards? You all charge 3%. It's hard to differentiate yourself. It's the same way with Foxtail. It's hard to differentiate us from any other SEO agency. All SEO agencies say they do all the same things. So how do you differentiate? It's relationships and referrals, and we live heavily off of those. So to keep in touch with them, we went to them and said, you know what? I don't even know if we spend any money on your AdWords. Let's optimize for SEO, but let's go long tail after these luxury keywords instead. So find a niche that you do incredibly well with. We also have another group that we work with that we focus specifically on cabins, and that's their niche. Now, again, he's a real estate agent. He can sell anything he wants, but he finds that he does so well in that space. So he actually bypasses all those super competitive keywords like Seattle real estate or homes for sale in Seattle, and he goes after cabins, Blue Ridge Mountains, Georgia, and he goes after keywords that are more long tail that he does really well with, because don't try and boil the oceans. The other thing we did for them is we created a newsletter that really, really emphasizes who they are and what they do. And the reason being is their audience, as we did a customer journey and a buyer persona for them, we found that really rich people, let's say it, rich people, they like to look at other people's stuff. You're usually, if you're rich, you're buying really nice stuff. Why? Because the Joneses have something as nice. And I'm making a generalization there, but again, my dad's a doctor, he's a rich guy, so I can talk bad about rich people. But what we did was we found out that their people love to look at stuff. And so we made a newsletter that affectionately internally with them we call it property porn, but basically all it is we go in and we grab some of the best images of their homes and we do a blog post that highlights these high-end images, talks about the features on there, and not just talks high level, but talks about, you know, some of the finishing touches on it, the types of marble, the flooring, those types of things. And then we take that and we send it out in a weekly newsletter saying, here is your mountain retreat for the week, or your showcase mountain retreat. And it gets so much traffic. It gets hardly any unsubscribes because people love it. It engages with them, and it builds that relationship. We then took that newsletter and we promote it out on Facebook, and we say, hey, do you love beautiful homes? Sign up for our newsletter and you get to see these every week. See the top of the line homes in your market. We do this with a couple of other groups, one in Malibu, and they've kind of become the high-end home resource in Malibu. And people start signing up for pennies to their newsletter in their target audience in that space. What's also become a result of this is local newspapers and even national newspapers have called them and said, hey, can we feature your properties in our lifestyle section? We really like to talk about high-end properties, and you guys do a really good job. Can we just syndicate this content? So they syndicate this content, leading to great links to their blog posts, which boosts their SEO value to where their traffic year over year from their one year to the other has been astronomical. And not only has their traffic gone up, but their conversion rate's gone up because they've created these relationships with these buyers and their customers that continue to bring them back over and over and over again, and give them referrals, give them opportunities to engage with people, and it's been huge. So they're a ski season one, and I'm just going to show you real quick. Let's look at their Google Analytics, the year we worked with them over their previous year, and the numbers are kind of crazy. And they had 5 or 6 times the amount of traffic that they previously had, and that was a huge boom for them because they were also able to cut back on their AdWords spend, their SEO stress, and they created relationships. So for real estate agents, I suggest picking a niche that you're phenomenal at, creating relationships through newsletters, social media engagement, blog posts, create really engaging content, and that's how you differentiate yourself from the rest.
All right, and we have Natalia. She says that she loves your resist boiling the ocean analogy, and she's asking, they don't have any specific industry that their B2B event agency serves or targets, and wonders if they're doing it wrong.
I would say yes. If you don't have a specific industry that you talk to and you say we can do anything for anyone is great. Your website can talk to anything for anyone, but you should have a funnel within your website that is built towards the industries that you've identified. And if you go back to your clienteles and say, which clients have been the best? Who has the highest order value with us? Who has the highest lifetime value? Who keeps coming back? You're going to see similar patterns forming. Now that might not be industry specific, it might be company size. You'll say, wow, our small businesses, they continue to come back to us, or our enterprise level companies continuously come back to us over and over again. And so you don't have to necessarily say, I'm just this industry, but rather you can say, just like these people, they don't say we focus only on doctors or lawyers. They're saying we work with high net worth individuals. If you work with enterprise level organizations, what's going to happen is an enterprise group is going to look at you and say, these guys can handle us because their messaging is set specifically to us. And that's the big question that a lot of enterprise groups have. At the same time, if your small business clients aren't really that valuable and your margin is very small on them and they take up 90% of your work but only make up 10% of your profits, then that's a way for you to kind of distance yourself a little bit, and they'll say, wow, they look way above us. Maybe we should go with another group. Great. That's the kind of traffic and business you might not necessarily want. It's been hard for us. We have minimum engagements with clients, and we can't work with people at $500 a month because I honestly don't believe marketing can be done at $500 a month. If someone comes to us with a low budget like that, we give them materials and guides and handbooks and say, if that's all you have, you really should be doing it on your own, but here's as many tools as possible. We'll be hosting a free seminar later this month to try and help you with some more tactics, but here's what we should do. And I do that because I don't want them to go throw that money after an agency that's like, yeah, we'll take that and we can make something happen. Very few can. So instead of working with them, because we really don't feel we can give the value to them, we're instead going to help them as much as possible. So if you don't want to push away your smaller clientele, create leave behind. Say, hey, but here's a guide on throwing the perfect event, because we're not going to make any money on it, but we still want you to have the best information out there, and we're really going to target the groups that we can help the most, and that's where we're going to message our marketing.
All right, and we have a good question from David here. He says that he markets to contractors and they don't have sites and the education process is hard there. So he wants to know what a good group would be to market to in that industry, or next higher level prospects to market to.
Yep, so we've targeted contractors before, and I know what you're talking about, David. It's a legacy industry. If you have a software or a service or anything like that, it's very difficult. Softwares to contractors, your biggest competitor is usually a whiteboard. And how do you change, something that's been done the same way for so long? And a lot of people do this. They market into legacy industries that are very difficult to penetrate. You have to find, and here again is where you try and avoid boiling the ocean with your tactics. So you might try and boil the ocean with your targeting, but your tactics can also do that too as well. We're doing a little bit of social, a little email, a little this, a little that. So we've actually found that for some of our contractor targeting clients, what works really well is first picking one that says we do it best for them, and whether that's multi-truck contractors, electricians, HVACs, plumbers, whatever it is. Take one and say, we're the best at this. We're best for multi-trucks and not small groups because we have a better value proposition, or we have a better proposition for the one-man show because we're an outsourced group that does something for them. Pick them. Get a really, really strong message that says, when they read your message, they're going to say, wow, they get me. That is my problem. And they're not talking to the industry at large, they're talking to me. Makes it more poignant, and it helps you sell to them. Then find what they engage with. Our other contractor people, they do really well with direct mailers, of all things, because contractors don't get online that much, and they don't see as many ads as they would like to. It does well for certain trade magazines. So they have found that some of their best results come from mailers combined with webinars or combined with downloadable videos. Mobile assets are very, very effective for contractors because they're not usually sitting at a desktop, but they're usually on their phone. So if they send an email, they want to give them a video that they can watch on their phone, or they want to give them a podcast they can listen to when they're on the road. And they even proposition it that way by saying, hey, download this and listen to us on the way to your next job. And by saying that, they're like, oh, they get me. I'm going to totally listen to them. And so that's ways you can go after, and again, that's going after your buyer persona and your customer journey, really identifying that.
Okay, and we have Christine asking what your opinion is on Raven tools.
Again, tools are, there are so many of them. What I would suggest is test a lot of them, take the 30-day trials on them. Raven Tools is a decent solution. I don't think they differentiate themselves in any way, but look at your tools. Find out what you really need, find the best price for the best value. There are things that Ahrefs doesn't do that I know that Majestic does, or that, what's the name of that one? I can't even think of them right now, but they're incredibly expensive. And I look at it and I go, the value prop just isn't in there for me. It's too much for what they're giving us. So if I can supplement that with Google Analytics, which I actually prefer in a lot of cases from an SEO point of view, then look for the best value to cost, or the cost to value. You're going to find it. Find what works for you, and don't jump around a lot to different tools. If your tool starts being a non-performer, kind of like I mentioned, SEMrush has become for us, then you can make a decision on that. But just find the one that works best for your use case.
All right, and we've reached the last question here. It's from Emily, and she's asking if you can talk about exit pages and ways to optimize them.
Absolutely. So exit pages is a great question. A lot of people even wonder if they should have exit pages, or if they should, because what a lot of groups unfortunately do is, if you have a form fill out for your conversion, is you'll send your AdWords traffic and your SEO traffic to this one page that says fill out a form. You should always have a thank you page. The reason being is Google counts your bounce rate and the pages viewed and the time on site as a factor for both on AdWords your quality score, which means you pay more per bid, and on SEO your rankings. And you don't want people to come to a page, fill out a form, and immediately leave. So they get a light box saying, thank you for filling out a form. Rather, it should take them to a page saying, thank you for filling out our form. You know, what we like to do on our exit pages is, if it's a thank you page, give them a leave behind. Say, while you're waiting to hear back from us, here's a download that you can download. We have that on a lot of our exit pages. They may fill out a form with us, but we want to make sure they really get the value prop. So download some content from us. Ensure that you have remarketing, retargeting on there. If you're an e-commerce page and you're noticing a lot of drop-offs at a certain point in the funnel, set up dynamic remarketing to tell them, come back, your cart's been abandoned, or hey, these are the products that you were currently browsing. We hope you come back. try and look for the points where people are falling off. Again, put on your make-believe hat, pretend to be your customer and saying, why am I not going past this? What am I doing wrong here? And really be critical of your own process. Bring in other minds and other sets of eyes to look at it and have them look at it too, because sometimes you're in an echo chamber inside your head and you don't really see what your customers are seeing, but a new set of eyes can. So optimize your exit pages with calls to action such as download this, sign up for our newsletter, connect with us socially. We'll be in touch with you very shortly. Optimize exit pages that you see in your funnel as drop-offs, and they shouldn't be exit pages, to be better conversion optimized, whether you can eliminate that page entirely to shorten the funnel or to move people on to the next desired step. That's what I would recommend there.
All right, and Emily just has a little clarification. She was wanting to know a little bit more about maybe pages where you're losing people, so on analytics where there's a high bounce rate or, you know, it's not converting. She's asking if there's anything you can do there.
Yep, and Emily, that's where you're going to do the customer journey and where you're actually going to draw a whiteboard, a funnel on the whiteboard and say, okay, really identify, look a step before the exit page. Why are people coming to the exit page? What was their search query before they made it to the exit page? If they were searching XYZ, diagram that up on the funnel, and then say 90% of the people that search this fall off on this page. However, 90% of people that search this move on to the next step. So instead of sending those 90% fall off to that page, shouldn't we create a more customized page for their experience, for their customer journey? Because if the customer journey is one size fits all, that's where you're going to be losing a segment. So what you want to do on your exit pages is actually go one step ahead of it and find out the pages that are sending traffic and then identify from those pages which ones are actually dropping, because I guarantee it's not an equal drop-off rate between those pages. You're probably giving a better experience to certain queries or certain ads or certain customers than you are with others. And what you'll then do is create a secondary funnel for the ones that are dropping off and start A/B testing that. That's how we do it with the exit pages. Does that make sense, Emily?
Yeah, I think we've wrapped up all the questions here. So thanks for sharing that with us, Mike. That was a fantastic hour. That was great, and you're getting some really good feedback. All right, everyone, watch for the recording from us. We'll send that out in an email today or tomorrow, and you can also go to our website, conversa.com, and visit our resources section to access this webinar. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mike, before I close up shop?
If anybody has any additional questions they weren't able to ask or on more specific issues, you can go ahead and email me at mike@foxtailmarketing.com. I get back to every email eventually. I try and get back to them as quickly as possible, but I'm happy to answer any additional questions offline over there.
All right, thanks again, everyone. I hope you're having a great day, and thanks again, Mike. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Shema. Appreciate it.